Okay, so what we have here is, or actually, I'm sorry, it was an E-Machines of some description or another. Let's see, what does this say? ET164102W. So, it's no longer an E-Machines. You can see it's completely empty. And I won't be putting any E-Machines hardware in this. What it originally had was some crappy motherboard that failed because it had a stupid cheap power supply in it that was definitely not the original. Somebody probably took the original out and put it into something else. That said, what I guarantee happened is the power supply had capacitors fail, which then took out some voltage regulation, and because it was a stupid cheap power supply, they took out the motherboard. It was just some Celeron dual-core thing anyway, so I probably wasn't really going to keep it. There's the information sticker there. Doesn't really tell us much about it. All we have to do is look at the front to know it was another one of these really nice budget computers. You know, Celeron dual-core, come on. Did at least have NVIDIA onboard graphics, it wasn't too bad, but designed for Windows Vista. Yuck. So, this case is going to get repurposed. I've got some plans in mind for this. It's going to become a NAS. This case is not nearly as nice as some of the earlier E-Machines cases were, which is really too bad. Oh, I'm on the power cord, that's why it's not sitting flat. Alright. So, it does come with this SATA optical drive, which isn't too bad. Not a whole lot else. It doesn't really come with much. Front panel USB, front panel audio, and then this thing which goes to the card reader, which takes up another USB slot. Digital Media Manager, it says. You can't really read it. Yeah, whatever. So, what do we got? DVD RW, which is nice, with label flash, which is probably, I think that's a competitor to LightScribe. Of course, there's Expansion Bay, which has nothing in it, and never did have anything in it. The blank is still there. So let me get out the motherboard and the power supply and the hard drives and all that, and we'll put this thing together. At first glance, this might be a little curious, but rest assured, that's not what's actually in this box. Alright, so I went ahead and installed it in the case. So now I know how to plug in these connectors here. Hold on a minute. Something doesn't look right about that SATA plug. Oh. Well, won't be using that drive. It's kind of hard to plug something into that. It's not on the other end of the connector, is it? No. Huh. So I guess I'm going to have to pull that out and replace it. Outtake. I think I'm going to leave that in the video because that's actually kind of funny. Okay, it's all installed, including the power supply and all the wiring. And no, I didn't break another SATA data or SATA power connector for that matter. But there is an issue, and I noticed this. Apparently my collection of power supplies is rather mediocre at best. I don't have any power supplies on hand right now that are A, 80 plus certified, B, have a P4 power connector, and C, actually work. So I'm stuck with this PowerMan piece of crap on a temporary basis. Or I may just leave it in there, because to be honest, it's probably not bad for like a 350 watt power supply. And it does have active power factor correction. So it's probably not that bad, but I'd rather get a better power supply, so I'll probably end up buying a better power supply for this. So, time to put the side panel on and see if it works. Alright, are we ready to see this thing blow up in my face? It's been a long time since I've had a computer explode, so I'm overdue. Hopefully it doesn't happen. Well, it hasn't happened yet. Assuming it actually works. I don't know. Does it work? Or did I manage to kill it? I think it's dead. Right, it generally helps to plug the power switch into the power switch connector, rather than the message header. Message header won't work. Let's try that again. Alright, so we do actually have power. Although my power LED is not working. Let's see if it posts. I don't see any reason why it wouldn't. Although it hasn't so far. Alright, I'm an idiot. Always make sure to check your video switch and make sure it's set to the right input. So now I gotta reset the damn BIOS. That's annoying. I just love it. Turn LAN clock off if corresponding RJ45 connector, no LAN cable detected. That's nice. It has now stalled out. Loading operating system. Now, let's try the boot menu. See if that will help me. I want USB hard drive. There we go. Install Rockstore. This is what we're going to be installing on this. Hopefully it will work a little bit better than it did on that other system. Okay. So I'm going to take care of this first. This is NAS 6. So we'll do that. I don't know why it figures I'm in Los Angeles. That's a very interesting thing to figure. Everything else should be fine. No disks selected. That's the one I want. That should be good. Reclaim space. Delete all. Reclaim space. Begin installation. And we'll see how that goes. Okay, successfully installed. Go ahead and reboot to start using it. No problem. And we'll see if it will actually boot and get an IP address and all that nonsense. Speaking of nonsense, apparently this optical drive is screwing this up. Give me a moment. Okay. Try that. It should be much better. In theory. There we go. That booted up that fast. That's really good, actually. So, I think it's time. I think we can go ahead and configure this thing on the network. Okay, so a couple and hopefully final quick updates on this thing. I did end up putting the Ant-Bell power supply in here because this is pretty much the only system that it will actually fit in. I took out the optical drive, which is useless to me. At least for this system. I don't ever really plan on doing anything with the optical drive anyway. At work, I have a system with a hot swap bay here, so it's possible that what's probably going to end up happening is I'll end up using that to my advantage. And the other thing I did is I replaced the data drive with a Seagate drive because the Western Digital, as we can see, I don't know if I mentioned this already, has a problem. And of course, obviously the problem wouldn't show up until after I got data on it. So that's going to be relegated to a test drive. Right now I'm actually testing some other drives as well where I was. Suppose I shouldn't really be surprised. The other drive that came from that same pile is completely dead. These two also came from that same pile, and this one's got like 4,000 something bad sectors on it, so that one's useless. This one, on the other hand, seems to be okay, but again, I'm going to put that through its paces before I even consider that one good. Even close to good. But we'll do that in another system. I want to get this thing hooked all back up and get it in the closet so I can actually use it as a server, you know?